Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. This is all my thoughts, my speculations. This is from the Amazon Prime. One night at Idaho, Moscow, on the livings, I believe. Maisie is talking about the text Ethan sent her, the last sex. She said, I don't think I'm going to go. He said, yes, you are. Let's go. He said, let's go. Please hang out. Remember that they went to the Betty Ball party together. Maisie said she took Ethan as a date. This is the part that I find to be extremely important. We all want you here. That is more than Ethan and Zana. Who are we all? Hunter Chapin, the other triplet, had to be sitting there because he said that Ethan and Zana was at his room, his frat Sigma Chi fraternity, up to 1:45. And then David B, says that he was the sober watch guy, and he said that I believe around 1:45 he saw Zana leaving, and he spoke to her and she said, why don't you come and hang around with us? And he said, I should have done that before. And I told her I was going to do it, but now it's too late. Now Maisie says, Ethan says, we all want you here. What happened after that? What could have gone bad in this party? Was Ethan and Zana followed home? Because we can hear all the yelling and screaming. What happened at the Sigma Chi fraternity? He says, you good dog? And then Ethan tells his sister Maisie, I love you. He texts her. And she found that to be weird because they never tell each other we love you. That is heartbreaking. I wonder if Ethan was giving her a message or a code, or maybe there was a triplet code they had when something goes wrong. It's very strange. Hunter Johnson and David B said they had to lock the windows and the doors. They felt it was eerie. Quite strange. Why would they feel that it was eerie that night? Apparently they took many pictures on the 12th of November before the victims are unalived. So they did take a couple of photos together. It's strange. They look more genuine in pictures than DM and Kaylee. DM seems to be looking very strangely, very creepy at Kaylee. All these pictures was taken on Hunter's phone, Hunter Johnson. He said that he was there at their house. That was on the 12th of November, and he forgot his phone. He was drunk, he said, and he said Maddie and Dylan took these pictures on his phone. They're playing around. This picture is extremely important. If you look down, it says it was taken on the 12th of November 2022, and I remember it was taken around 2:30 in the afternoon. But this picture was uploaded on Kaylee's Instagram on the 13th of November. You can go and check on Kaylee's Instagram right now. You'll see it was on the 13th of November. So who uploaded this picture on Kaylee's phone? I don't think it was Kaylee. Could have been DM, one of the surviving roommates. They wrote, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day." Somebody had access to Kaylee's phone. Steve should be more busy. He should be more busy trying to investigate Kaylee's phone. Eventually it'll become a civil case. You should find out. Collect all the evidences he has. Get a private investigator. But then Koba gets pleaded guilty. So I don't know how that will work. But Steve, if you're listening, Kaylee couldn't have uploaded the picture on the 13th. This picture was taken on the 12th. You need to investigate who was using Kaylee's phone. Who had access to Kaylee's phone? It had to be DM, because DM was uploading on VSCO the picture of her with Kaylee as a +1. This picture is extremely important. I doubt Kaylee would write, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day." And why would she took the picture on the 12th of November? Why would she upload it on the 13th? Doesn't make sense. Somebody was playing with Kaylee's phone, logged out, completely out of LinkedIn. Somebody is trying to get rid of the traces, I think. And I believe it was the people who came to the house, the students who came to the house the next day before 911 was called. I really believe that. Because Eva Wood said that the phone was pinging. Katie and Maddie's phone was pinging in the crime scene. So maybe the police came and took it immediately. The students could have done that. The students could have planted the knife sheet too. Who knows? Because this was a crime scene that was tampered with from the very beginning. The students, victims, friends, surviving roommates were calling each other, inviting each other to active, brutal, quadruple scene. Hunter's trying to tell us that he did not see Ethan was lying on the doorway of Xana's room. Doesn't make sense. People were uploading pictures that night. And I believe it wasn't Kaylee. Now, DM is saying that she heard Kaylee and Maddie talking and discussing something in the living room. And her wall is between the living room, that's DM's wall, and her room, I think. So she could hear that. How couldn't she hear people fighting for their lives? If DM heard Kaylee and Maddie laughing and talking on the sofa of the living room that's next to her wall of her bedroom, how come she didn't hear people fighting for their lives? And allegedly, Kobaga saw and let her live? Doesn't make sense. Make that make sense. So we know for a fact Ethan, Hunter Chapin, and Pete Rock were at the Betty Ball party. Ethan and Xana went to Sigma Chi to the party. We don't know how long they were there for, but Hunter Chapin says they were at his room up to 1:45. I don't think that's true. Something happened to them at 1:56, 2 a.m. That's what I really believe. And it is just so creepy so wrong that David B was the what sober guy. This was all pre-planned. He wanted to get an alibi, in my opinion. I'm surprised that the Sigma Chi fraternity doesn't have cameras. That is such BS. That's nonsense. They know exactly who the four figures were. They know exactly who wasn't at home. Don't they have surveillance inside the building? They took out all the surveillance. They made sure cameras, everything was out. They made sure that the Facebook and other internet activities from 2018 upwards was deleted. That is all evidence. Why were they under the microscope? The 3 unidentified male DNAs could have come not only from the Sigma Chi fraternity, but from the Banfield Boys, Alpha Kappa Lambda fraternity, too. I think they both had motives and they came together and did this. This is 2 separate incidents. And I think Caden Young found out a lot about what was happening. And Demetrius and Emma said, we will go and deal with him. And they OD'd him, whether they intended to do it or not. Jody says that her boyfriend is friends with Jack Showalter. But she found Jack Showalter odd. So did Emily, so did Maisie, and Emily decided to call the cops and tell them what she knew about Showalter. They all found Showalter to be acting suspicious. Isn't that strange? David B. volunteered to be sober that night. How nice. He's being a good Samaritan. I wonder, why did you volunteer? To get a perfect alibi? At the same time, you could have your eyes on Ethan and Zana. You and your friend, Lorch, were really upset with them. Revenge. What was it about? So who are the 4 figures running? Were you one of them? Or was it Lorch and the others like Pete Rock and all? Why is he acting like a victim? Saying that people have been threatening him. You were fooling around with people on social media in the beginning of this case. And yes, Sigma Chi has a big role in it. That is where Ethan was from. You were his tutor. You should have a lot to say. Now he's saying that the night was eerie, he locked his doors. Before that, he saw Zana and Ethan. So David Lodge is saying the last time I saw Zana was when she was leaving Sigma Chi at 1:45. That's a lie. Because Ethan texted his friend, and his friend's mother told the FBI that was at 2 a.m. He said, I'm still at the Sigma Chi on my way home. So that would have taken Ethan home by 2:15. So this is, I believe, the last picture seen of Zana. Was this from another party, from another night? It could be possibly from that night. So it's the Sigma Chi fraternity boys that are lying about the timeline. Zana and Ethan did not come home before 2 a.m. So something happened to them from 1:40 to 2 a.m. That's the 20 minutes they're buying off the timeline, in my opinion. The Davids are lying, allegedly. So there was a big party This is the party at the Sigma Chi fraternity. It was called Watch Party. Imagine if a fire breaks out there, God forbid. There are too many people in a very small room, in my opinion. Hope their fire exits. So it was in this watch party that the fight broke out between David Lott and Ethan. Or more like David Lott, David B. together, the two bodies against Ethan and Zano. I think this is the escapatory evidence Bethany Funk has, whatever she witnessed in the party. That's the part they're trying to delete for the world not to see. The Sigma Chi fraternity boys are definitely involved. So are the Alpha Kappa. Those are the Banfield boys. I think Caden Young found out who were the suspects who were involved, and they silenced them. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a lovely Sunday.